say? I've had enough of your shit, I'm about to rage.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Speed Tribe X. Today we are at, as usual, Safa Holdings Global, and today we're going to take a look at the Rs7.
I'm down for the best now. Take my time, you better pay up in the next stop.
Okay, so as you can see, this is not the latest gen Audi Rs7. This is the previous gen Audi Rs7, because I don't have the latest gen because Audi Malaysia doesn't give me cars. Hopefully they do one day. This has obviously a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 making 560 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. This is not the performance version, where if you got the performance version, it's 605 horsepower and I think almost 600 pound-feet of, 585 pound-feet of torque. This is the Audi R7. I'm going to take you for a full tour of this car to see how it looks, how it feels in the interior, and how it drives. Let's go. Okay, so as you can see, the front of this car is more aggressive than the regular A7, but it is not super crazy aggressive. Any normal person would actually maybe pass this off as a normal A7. If you debadge it, I can almost guarantee you most people would pass it off as a normal A7. And that was the beauty about cars from this generation, which is literally the generation before we are in now. The performance cars, you'd never know this thing had 560 horsepower and could probably kill most supercars. That's one of the advantages for someone who wants to stay under the radar. Okay, so as you can see, even on the sides, there's not much to talk about. Yes, this car looks great, and in my opinion, I would pick this car. If you didn't get an RS6 Avant, you should get this car, in my opinion, of course. But this car looks super amazing, but it doesn't look like, you know, like RS. It doesn't pop at you, right? It has 21-inch wheels. It has huge brakes, but it's subtle. It keeps everything simple. And I think if you're someone who looks for a car that's super under the radar, that you can take to the office and then probably smoke, you know, sub-tuner, this is your car. Am I promoting it? Not really, but that's just what I feel, because this is my second or third favorite Audi. The first would be the R8, second would be the RS6 Avant, and this would be the third one. And this is also the first RS car I ever drove. So let's head on to the back. Okay, so if you come around back, you can see this car is a teensy bit more aggressive in the fact that, you know, it has those sport exhausts and a more aggressive rear diffuser. And this wing is also active, as I will show you how it goes up. So now you can see the wing is up. And does it look more aggressive? Not really, but you can put it up so that if you want more people to look at you when you go around in your Rs7. And it's a pretty simple car. It is also a hatchback. So I think we should be able to pop the boot. Yep. It's a hatchback. And yeah, I mean, it's huge, right? The boot space in this car is huge. If you're looking for a car with boot space, make no mistake, the Audi R7 is probably one of your best choices. Because I mean, come on, you can take all this stuff off and then you can just put like long stuff in it. You could sleep in this car. This is one of those cars where you can actually live in it, where then becomes the quote, you can live in a car but you can't race a house. You can live in this car easily. Let's go check out the front engine. Okay, to pop the hood, you open the door, you come here, and then you see this thing here. You pull it once, actually, and I think there should be a hood latch in the front. I think there, yep. Then you hold it, and then voila. Twin turbo 4-liter V8, 560 horses, 516 pound-feet of torque. Yeah, I mean, it's an engine. This part is plastic. It's cool that they actually went through the trouble of, you know, putting the RS badge on it, painting it, doing all that. But why I always feel like these cars' hoods are just huge, like a huge piece of car just comes out when you pop it. I don't know if that's just me or anyone else feels like that. Maybe you would if you were here. But yeah. Now let's hop into the interior. Now we are inside the Audi Rs7, and I've been told that the key fob, which is this, it's a normal Audi key with an RS badge on it, actually has low battery. So this is something that you would never know if the key had full battery. This is where the signal is being detected. So if your car has a low battery, right, you put the key here, then you can push it so that you don't, then all stuff comes to life. Foot on the brake, and voila, Audi RS7 is now alive. I'm just gonna close this window. Ooh, entertainment volume. Tire pressure warning. I mean, most German cars have a very, very aggressive tire pressure warning. Yeah, now we're in the Audi R7. This is the button you push to put the wing up at the back or down. This is the traction control off. This is parking sensors on or off. This is your start stop button, which should always be off when you're driving, at least. This infotainment system is not touchscreen. It is, needless to say, from the older generation Audi RS cars, or Audis, right? This is not the latest infotainment system. It is okay. I mean, I wouldn't suggest anyone use the navigation in this thing at all, but wow. Okay, so I mean, nothing really interesting in the infotainment system. Media, whatever, radio, then car, go individual. What is individual setting? Let's go set individual. Ooh, well, somebody had fun in this car. And then you got dynamic, blah blah, right? Nothing really that interesting. But the steering wheel, Audi RS steering wheel, full leather, right? It's perforated with all this thing in it. I love it. I love this steering wheel. Oh, it just feels so good. And then the paddles feel a bit plasticky. No, they're plastic. They're plastic paddles. Your signals, wipers, and all that. Nothing much very interesting. You have a sunroof, which you can open if you want, which is good, right? I mean, it's small compared to other sunroofs, but it's there, right? At least it is there. Ta-da. Now, if you can come to the gauge cluster, you will see that this car has an analog gauge cluster. This car was literally the car before everyone went and put screens in their gauge clusters. Now, do I think having screens is an advantage? Yes and no. If you're someone who uses navigation all the time, yes. But if you're someone who doesn't use navigation all the time, this should be just fine. I much prefer this because it looks cooler, right? You have this giant speed in the center, and this speedometer goes up to 300 kilometers an hour, 200 miles an hour. Yeah, RS steering wheel has RS7 badging on it. But now we come to, I think, one of the best parts about this car, the seats, because these seats are one of a kind, I would say. These seats they're not incredibly like adjustable. You can't adjust the side bolsters and all that, but they're super comfortable. I don't know why or what, but these are probably one of the best seats I've sat in a performance, you know, sedan car. So I like it. It's probably one of my favorite seats, and also because the fact that you don't have a headrest. I've always hated headrests on cars. I don't know why. They just don't look, they don't feel nice. You know, they always feel like they're pushing your head forward. This is like the comfier version of a Ferrari sports seat is what this is. And I love the Ferrari sports seat. It's probably my favorite seat after the Senna seat. Yeah, this is nice. Then, you know, the whole dashboard, right? There's full carbon fiber trim, Quattro badge. Obviously, it's four-wheel drive. I mean, if you didn't know that, you probably weren't watching the video, were you? So carbon fiber, the door. All right. You should also know that it beeps a lot. Yeah, it's still beeping. Okay, man, chill, bro. Fuck. Wow. Okay. We're done with the beeping. It shows an Audi R7 with the door open. This door, you know, it continues the carbon fiber from the dashboard and all that, which is pretty cool. And this part is super soft Alcantara, I must add. Super soft leather, plastic, but not cheap plastic, more like expensive plastic. But yeah, but this Alcantara is super soft. Seat adjustments. Oh, this is one thing that I noticed. This off button basically means all the seat settings are off, which means if, let's say, you're using someone else's car, right? You borrowed someone else's car, and you set it to the way you want to sit down. The second you leave and come back, it'll reset itself to what the owner actually set as 1 or 2 or whatever the usual driving position is. But if you turn this off, it won't. It'll just be where you left it. Which I think, I mean, if you borrow your car, you have a rental car company, that's a good feature to have. It's just easier for everybody. There's also a button here to pop the trunk. Other than that, I don't think we need to talk about anything, but that means we can pop to the back seats. Let's go. Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, this is your cup holders. It has 2 cup holders with these adjustable things, so you should probably be able to fit any sized cup. You pop this open, you have 2 USB ports and your cigarette lighter, your 12-volt socket. Then you can also have this secondary layer, which is covered in some soft material, so that your stuff doesn't rattle around. Now we can go to the back seats. Ooh. Now in the back of the Audi RS7, I mean, it looked smaller than it actually is from the outside, because the door opening is actually smaller. Oh, you got an AC vent here where you can adjust the temperature, so it has 4-zone climate control, but you can also adjust the fan speed. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So yeah, you should be comfortable for some miles in the back of this car, even though it has that sloping roof line, you know, like a coupe or whatever they call it. I mean, I'm almost 6 foot, I got decent headroom, so it should be fine for most people. The seats are comfortable. Wow, this thing, first of all, is hard to pull out, but when you pull it out, and then you got 2 cup holders, simply engineered, surprising. Oh, first aid kit, which is Premier's Sources. It has a lot of written in Germany, or in German. Close that. It's a bit hard to close the cup holders. It's just something you should keep in mind. There's also an AC vent here, so you should be nice and warm or cold, you know. There's a thing there to keep stuff that looks cheap. There's, well, on the doors, it also has the carbon fiber like the front, and it also has a ashtray, maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the back of the Audi RS7. Now let's see how it feels like to drive. Oh, this is something I noticed. Most cars won't have this, but the Audi RS7 has the RS7 badge on the back. Most cars don't, like most, you know, M5 or whatever, they don't have that. So this is something worth noting, or worth saying, that's all. Now let's go drive it. Okay, so now let's hear the Audi RS7's exhaust. Now these aren't so called real. I mean, they look cool, but they are, yeah, you should come here, and then they're fake-ish. I mean, there are exhausts in there, but so, I mean, let's listen. I don't know if there's a soft limiter on this car yet or not. We're about to find out. Okay, now driving the RS7. I think after you heard it, the soft limiter of this car is at 5,000, more than 5,000 RPM. So, and that's weird, but whatever. Okay, pull the U-turn was easy. I mean, that place is big, so I don't really know how hard it would be in a smaller place, but yeah. It has some power to it. It's good. I like it. But it's okay, right? Driving it in, let's see what happens when you put it in comfort. Steering becomes very light in comfort. Throttle is so much less reactive than it was before. It soaks up the bumps well. Actually, this soaks up the bump as good as any other, you know, normal car would. You see, these were bumps that I slowed down for, that I didn't have to slow down for. Now we put it in dynamic, it instantly, you know, picks up the pace, to say the least. The gear shifter of this car is, or the gearbox is easy to use. And, well, it's smooth, right? And yeah, it's a nice car. It's smooth at high speeds, and you can really get a move on. But I don't know, this U-turn that I normally take when I come here has a bumper on it, and it is stupid to have a bumper like this, because you'd be coming really fast around this place. I mean, it's a highway, but whatever. Malaysian roads are Malaysian roads, I guess. I don't understand why every time we end a video it has to be in the rain. I really didn't want to get wet today. Oh God. This car handles bumps fairly well, I'd say. It's actually really good at handling bumps. It's more, this car is more like a normal sedan with a really fast engine and really good driving system in it. Which is weird because a lot of these cars, they felt like they were, well, most of them feel like that, like they were made for something else, and then you just put a huge engine in it. But this car actually, even when I was driving the normal A7, it was very much like, it felt more of a sports car. And I like that about the Audi A7. I don't feel like that about the M5 or, you know, the C63, okay, obviously. But the E-Class, no. The E-Class, then you feel different. This one, it, you know, on the higher end, it feels like a sports luxury, you know, sedan that still has a shitload of power. Okay guys, I just got back from driving this car and, well, it's raining. What a surprise! So this car is amazing. It is one of the best sports sedans out there. You can buy this car. It's for sale here at Safa Holdings Global. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching Speed Tribe X. Ciao.
Now I better stop before I catch a case,